my name is Adam and welcome back to my channel where I make a tabletop role-playing game from scratch on camera. Have you ever felt that inventories in RPGs are just pointless lists of items? Well, in this episode, we'll fix that. Before we start today's episode, I just want to remind you of the 96 likes. Before I started this project with Explorers RPG, I've been using this book to just note down different stuff that is role-playing related. And I think this will be fun and interesting for world builders, role players, and, well, anyone. So 96 likes and I will make a video where I go through the 96 pages that I have here. And while you're down there, please press the subscribe button, but let's go on to the video. I've always liked inventory systems in role-playing games. I have this weird thing that I always try to uphold variant encumbrance rules when I make D&D characters, while also having strength as a dump stat. And I love to keep track of where all the items are, if they're in a pouch, a bandolier, or strapped onto the backpack. I even keep track of how many arrows I've used for a while, until I'm bored, because tracking ammunition is dumb. But the question becomes, how do you make an interesting inventory system? The answer is that the players need to be able to make meaningful decisions. They should interact with the inventory system frequently, and they should want to interact with it. And there are two important factors that need to be present for this to happen: the item's importance and its cost. Let's take a system that does this poorly. D&D. In D&D, the item cost is its weight. You can only carry a certain amount of item, and so you need to think about how much weight you can carry without getting encumbered. The problem with this is that there's no correlation between weight and importance. A wizard only needs a spellbook and a component pouch to be effective in combat, which is 5 pounds of gear, while a paladin would likely value a weapon, shield, and plate armor, which would total up to 75 pounds. The paladin requires 15 times more gear to be prepared for combat. D&D fixes this problem by increasing the inventory size. It's easy for a regular character to carry around 150 to 200 pounds of items without having any penalties. And you can add magical items such as bag of holding and portable hole to further increase your inventory space. This only enhances the problem, since now there's no limit to how much you can carry, and therefore you don't actually interact with the inventory system, but have a list of items on a piece of paper. This is also why I personally like the variant rules for encumbrance in D&D, because I can engage with the inventory system more. Now let's look at a system that handles inventory well: Trophy Gold. I haven't played it myself, to be honest, but I have looked at the rules and some reviews, and it has something called burdens. Every item, every weapon, and every spell you prepare on your journey has a maintenance cost called burden. And you have to pay the cost in gold after each adventure, or you will be in debt, which is a downward spiral into losing the game. To top it all off, there's not much gold to be earned on an adventure. This not only incentivizes you to keep your inventory to a minimum, but also that you utilize all your items. Thirdly, it incentivizes you to take more risks and longer adventures to earn more gold. So how does Explorers RPG handle inventory? Well, I have a draft on the rules and that I posted on itch.io. The link is in the description. If you want to check it out and give some feedback, please do. This is again just a draft, so any feedback is welcome. Anyways, I think of inventory in Explorers RPG as preparedness. You want your character to be prepared for every encounter, and if you are prepared, you're rewarded with an easier or less risky encounter. This also has to do with a sense of mastery and intellectual prowess. You were able to kill a monster without injuries because you'd studied it the day before and you'd laid out a trap this morning. You've mastered the environment, you've utilized your equipment, and the payoff is a dead monster. What I want to happen is that the inventory reflects the preparedness of a character. If they're well prepared, the outcome is easy, while if they're ill prepared, they'll risk injuring themselves or some other bad consequence. And I want the players to constantly switch out the gear to fit the challenges ahead. I've done this by firstly dividing the items into roughly 3 characters and shrunken down the amount of items you can carry. The 3 categories of items are basic or improvised items, specialized items, and artifacts. Basic or improvised items are there to enable you to do a task, but just barely. It's something like a torch when it's dark. It's better than nothing, but an oil lamp would be better. A rope is better than nothing when climbing a wall, and a stick would be better than nothing in a fight, but any other weapon, except for one, would be better. Specialized items, on the other hand, are good for one purpose. These are things like weapons, armor, shields, climbing gear, sledgehammers, lockpicks, and oil lamps. These items are extremely good, but also extremely situational. If you pack your climbing gear with you, you'd better be sure that you'll be climbing walls that day. Artifacts are unique items that you find in the castle. Stuff like the archkey and the executioner's sword. These are game-changing items, such as when the archkey opens up the portal to the Barsuk. You might wonder why anyone would use the basic items when specialized items exist, but this is where the bundle comes in. A bundle is an unspecified amount of various basic items, where you can retrieve whatever basic items that you want from the bundle. A bundle takes up 1 inventory slot, which is the same as a specialized item, so you will get more basic items for the same space as 1 specialized. Speaking of inventory space, you can only have 6 items. Or, more precisely, you only have 6 inventory slots, and most items take up 1 slot. I hope the limited space and the various different items will make people think more critically about their actions. They could fill their inventory with bundles and recon the area ahead one day, and with their intel they can choose the correct specialized items and artifacts the next day to handle the various encounters they've planned for. The more the players understand the inner mechanics of the castles, and the more they invest in gathering information, the easier the encounters will become, and they can explore more efficiently. This will hopefully give the players the feeling of mastery in conquering the castle that I'm aiming for. So what do you feel about this approach? Do you think I'm strict with inventory space? Please read the draft of the rules on itch.io and let's discuss improvements. Like and subscribe, it really helps out a small channel, and don't forget to share this with your GM, they'll probably like it. See you next time.